It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news. This is the Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
You know, I've never really figured out why, but I am freaky for smallmouth bass. I don't know if it's the way they look, the way they fight twice as hard as any other freshwater game fish, or whether it's the fact that they're fairly rare around our region and I don't get that many chances to fish for them. But whatever the reason, I love a smallmouth bass. And it's to that end that I'd like to welcome you in to beautiful Lake Murray. Now, this lake is a fairly interesting study. It's located in the Arbuckle Mountains of south central Oklahoma. It's very scenic around the shorelines. The water is very clear and very deep. And not only does it have smallmouth bass, it's also got largemouths, white bass, crappie, catfish, and even some walleye. So you never know what you're going to catch out there. Today I'll escort you around the lake, show you what's going on here at the fall time of the year, and we'll also tell you that this lake has held up very well during the drought. It's only a couple of 3 feet low. And while I'm out doing that, we're taking you around the region for your very latest fishing reports from the rest of Oklahoma, Gary Dallahan, from Louisiana, Cajun Phil and Kevin, freshwater fishing in Texas with Brian Hughes, and along the Texas Gulf Coast, your saltwater report with Bill Olson. Also this week on the Lawrence Hot Lake of the Week, I'll be showing you a lake in northeast Texas that has also held up very well against the drought, and a place where you can catch hybrid stripers and largemouth bass. We'll also have the big catch of the week, the Academy Right Stuff, and your Ask the Pro answer. So right now I'm going to put this beautiful Nitro Z8 into Lake Murray and take you back to the FSN studio where Julie has your Chevy weekend planner.
A check of the fishing tables indicates that the prime daytime activity will begin about an hour or so after dawn. And we're approaching a full moon, so if you're interested in night fishing, peak times start at 8:30 p.m. on Saturday and 9:05 p.m. on Sunday. Expect sunrise to take place at 7:26 and the sun to set at 7:03. And evenings will be well lit with the moon 90% illuminated. We'll be right back with all the latest fishing information from around the Southwest. And Bassmaster Elite Angler Edwin Evers will join me for this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stay with us.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors. Buy quality award-winning Tracker boats. Fish the finest. Lawrence, maker of the HDS, high-definition systems. And Academy, right stuff, low price, every day.
Something. Good fight. Got to be a smallmouth fighting that hard. Smalley. All right. Look how hot he is. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. And there's my first victim of the day. Nothing real big, but it is the correct species. I mentioned that I'm just crazy about smallmouth bass. And there is one right there. I love their color. They got a little mouth, bronze looking sides, and I just started this morning throwing a little lipless rattling crankbait, and the first smallie hit it. I'm going to put him back and I want to show you something. We're at Lake Murray today, and something has changed about this lake. We've got a lot of grass beds that are growing up around the shoreline of the lake. I've never seen that here before. It's growing out in about 8 or 10 feet of water, and it's pretty much lining the shorelines and points. That's real good cover for largemouths, and the smallmouths will get around the outside edges of it too. So all I'm doing is going around the outside edges of these grass beds. It's early in the morning right now, and just real slow cranking that lipless rattling crankbait around those grass beds. So we'll see what happens. Smallmouths are deep water, rocky structure oriented fish, so we'll probably have to move to plastic baits once the sun gets up higher in the sky. Okay, let's move you along right now to the rest of Oklahoma, see what else is going on with fishing in the Sooner State. Here's Gary Dallahan.
As well known as this state is for its fishing, we also have a great reputation for our bass anglers too. We've generated some of the very best in the country that fish along the bass tournament trails. I ran into one of those recently after his outing on Grand Lake, and that was Edwin Evers, one of the top elite anglers on the BASS tournament trail. I asked him what he'd be doing right now to catch fish in Oklahoma. Here's what he had to say.
If I was going to go fishing the next few weeks, I would be looking at, like, if we're on the Grand chain, Grand, Hudson, Fort Gibson, or maybe Eufaula, some of those lakes, I'd be throwing like a Zara spook or a buzzbait on those points early in the morning, those flat rock points. And then just from there, as the day goes on, you might, mix in like a square bill, like an XCS square bill or something, especially if you're on the upper ends of those lakes where you got some off-colored water. There's still going to be some fish deep down the lake, you can catch out cranking maybe on a football jig, something like that, but on those lakes, generally, that's going to work really well. A little further to the south, say down in Texoma, those fish down there stay pretty much shallow year-round. There'll be some fish on the backs of boat docks, any type of shallow horizontal wood, brush piles, any of those things. Just this time of year, I like to put a crankbait in my hands, maybe a buzzbait and a spinnerbait, and just cover as much water as I possibly can, and you should run across those fish.
If you're looking for a lake to fish in that's nearest to normal level and least affected by the severe drought of 2011, look no further than Pat May's Lake, located north of Paris, Texas. The lake is only a couple of 3 feet low, still in good condition, and you can catch hybrid stripers, largemouth bass, and catfish. So let's show it to you right now on the Lowrance HDS-10 with the Insight Shaded Relief Mapping option. We locate the lake north of Paris, Texas, just west of US 271. Next, we switch to the Navionics Hot Maps Platinum chart for all the topographic detail. We locate 2 U.S. Army Corps of Engineers parks, east and west, here on the north shore. There's good access to the lake and good boat ramps in this location. The dam is on the northeast end of the lake here. There are several good coves and creeks on the north shoreline here. For hybrid stripers, fish the main lake off the points in between these creeks, and for bass and catfish, fish the creeks themselves as the water temperature cools down in these upcoming fall months. Best baits to throw would be a big swim bait for the hybrid stripers, shrimp for the catfish, and a topwater, a spinnerbait, or a medium running crankbait for the largemouth bass. That's this week's Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week, Pat May's Lake in northeast Texas. Stay with us. Cajun Phil and Kevin are up next with your fishing reports from Louisiana.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Stren, the standard of dependability, by Jean LaRue Lures and Bobby Garland Baits, quality soft plastic baits made in Oklahoma with American pride. Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors, and Mercury Marine.
We got it. What is this? It's like a largemouth. It is. All right. All right, we're at Lake Murray today, and I'm here to catch smallmouths, but here's one of the other species in the lake. There's just a regular largemouth bass. Let me explain something to you a little bit about Lake Murray here. Kind of a skinny chaser out there. A lot of this water's really deep out here. In fact, I'm sitting out here in 25 feet of water right now, and just out here in front of me is one of the main channels that runs down through the lake, and it's probably 60 or 70 feet deep. The fish will suspend out over that deep water a lot here. So a lot of times what you'll see is you'll see a few fish breaking the surface, chasing bait fish, and what you've got to do is figure out some way to catch them suspended. I'll show you 2 or 3 techniques later on in the Academy Right Stuff, but you can use a little grub, you can use a soft jerk bait, you can use a little crappie bait like a Bobby Garland, something like that, or same thing I just caught that one on as I caught the earlier smallmouth, is a lipless rattling crankbait, something that will suspend up. Those fish are in the top 10 feet of water, even though they may be over 60 feet. So get used to fishing open water and get used to fishing deeper than you might be used to fishing if you're coming to Lake Murray. These fish, by the way, are feeding on a little bait fish. It's not a shad, but they look like little alewife or a herring or something like that. I'm not sure what they are, but I don't see them anywhere else in the region. Some little bait fish about 2.5 inches long. Okay, I'm gonna keep fishing out here. It's a beautiful fall day out here at Lake Murray, South Central Oklahoma. Let's check in right now with Cajun Phil and Kevin in Louisiana.
It's Cajun Phil here with your Fox Louisiana Fishery Report. Well, I tell you what, All the lakes are still very, very low, especially like Toledo Bend and Bistineau and a bunch of lakes like that. The good news is the cooler weather, finally there's no more evaporation. So there's no rain to raise them up. There's also cooling down weather, less evaporation. Hopefully they won't go down anymore. Now the good news about them being down is a lot of the lakes are filled with Sylvania. Talking to the wildlife and fishery guys, they said now the Sylvania is all piled up together, it's concentrated. The heat that we did have this summer did do some damage to it. Now if we don't get any more rain and we get some real good hard freezes this winter, could kill the Sylvania outright. So there is a couple of pluses to the low water, but that's about all I can tell you right now as far as low water goes. Bass fishing is good on all the lakes because the fish are concentrated. Let's go over down to Hackberry, Louisiana, talk to Captain Kevin Broussard.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with your Fox Sports Louisiana Outdoor Saltwater Report. As you can see here, we had a great day on the water. Live shrimp for the speckled trout. We got back up in the marsh. I tell you what, we chased some schools of reds. Soft plastic saltwater assassin was the key there. Reds were really schooled up in about 1.5 feet of water. We got that handy boat, got up in there real shallow and got after them. The trout, they were slicking about 4 to 6 foot of water on some moisture beds. We threw some live shrimp under a popping cork, and that worked real well. Till next time, happy fishing. May God bless.
There's one. Got it. Be a walleye. Be a walleye. Oh, it is. Little walleye. Finally caught one. Hey! All right, that is not much of a walleye right there, but that's the other species that lives in this lake right here. I mentioned it at the beginning. I don't know how many of them are in here, but you can see rock ledge right here behind me and a walleye, and he bit a little Bobby Garland crappie bait. Okay, stay with us. When we come back, Brian Hughes is going to give you all the fishing reports from the state of Texas. Got lots more from Lake Murray. Coming right back.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Abu Garcia for life. By Navionics. Enjoy Navionics anytime, anywhere. By Whataburger, just like you like it. And by Motor Guide Trolling Motors.
Walking the dog, got him, blew up on it. Another smallmouth. Boy, this is amazing, these smallmouths out over this deep water like this. He's got one with him, got one right underneath him there. All right, they're not big, but they're a lot of fun. Welcome back, everybody, to beautiful Lake Murray. You know, there are several lakes in Oklahoma that have good smallmouth fishing. The other lakes would be a 10 killer, some good quality smallmouths there. Eufaula, down near McAllister, has the biggest smallmouths in Oklahoma. You've got Broken Bow, it's got a lot of smallmouth bass in it. There's good smallmouth fishing all across the state of Oklahoma. This is Lake Murray, by the way. Welcome back. And that one hit a Zaraspook again on the topwater. And not the biggest smallmouth in Oklahoma in Lake Murray, but there are a lot of them, a good population. And so actually there are two schools of thought. Oh, look at them right here. Watch this. They're blowing up right behind me. This might be white bass. I'm going to throw it right in front of the boat here, and we might get another one. We'll see. There are two schools of thought here. One, you can fish points up shallower, 15, 18 feet of water with a plastic bait. Got him. Oh, good one. Or you can come out here over deep water. This can be pretty frustrating because you see these fish everywhere and sometimes it's hard to make them bite. But there is another smallmouth bass. I told you at the beginning, smallmouths are my favorite, and here we go. All right, we're gonna let that one go back. A lot of good fishing here at Lake Murray. I love this lake, if I didn't already mention that. All right, up next, let's go to Texas, see what's going on in freshwater there with Brian Hughes.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Lone Star Lakes. This week brought to you by Wild Point Whitetail, your premier Texas destination for whitetail and exotic hunts. Now first, we're going to start in East Texas on Lake Monticello. Yes, I know it's a power plant lake and it's not quite winter yet. However, only a small percentage of that lake is taken up by the hot water discharge. And if you fish the rest of the lake, you have a great chance at catching bass right now. Start your day with topwaters, then move to spinnerbaits, spots, and plastic worms. In your spinnerbaits, use your chartreuse and chartreuse white combinations. Spots need to be shad colors, and your plastic worms will find purple and blue working best right now. Also near Monticello is Cypress Springs, which has a lot of boat docks. And those boat docks are holding crappie right now. Use your standard crappie jigs in chartreuse or cinnamon teal colors or minnows to catch those cypress crappies. Now down south, a group of guys just got back from Falcon Lake and they report it is still gangbusters for bass, with over 70 fish a day being caught, most of them in the 6-pound plus range and some of them topping out at 9 pounds. Again, Zara spooks and buzz baits in the morning, then switch over to large spinnerbaits or big swim baits to catch those monsters on Falcon. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Wild Point Whitetails. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island. Surrounded by pristine bays, estuaries, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico, Port A is truly the fishing capital of Texas. Come fish, play, and golf Texas Island style. For more information, visit the website on the screen. Well, a recent cold front dropped water temperatures as well as tides along the coast. The end result is more bait was blown out of the marshes and into the bays. This weekend, a slight warm-up is forecast, so a bit of a seasonal yo-yo pattern is developing where wind direction and tides will dictate where anglers will fish. On Sabine Lake, look for more bird activity on the north end to mid-lake. On the south shorelines, flounder activity has been good around areas draining the marshes. Bull redfish have kept jetty anglers busy around Galveston, Freeport, and the big jetties at Port O'Connor. Most of these fish have come from water 10 feet deep. Now, San Antonio and Matagorda Bay has seen a good upper slot redfish bite coming out of the back lakes as well as along the grassy shorelines. Speckled trout are out of the grass on the upper Laguna. Live or cut bait, spoons, and soft plastics into potholes have caught fish. Mexiquita Flats as well as Longbar continue to give up good reds and trout on the lower coast. Topwater lures early have caught fish. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Academy. Right stuff, low price, every day. Nitro Performance Bass Boats. Fish your best in a Nitro. Costa Del Mar Sunglasses. See what's out there. And by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for our Ask the Pro feature. Our question this week is from Brett in Tomball, Texas, who wants to know, how do I find the sweet spot when structure fishing? For the answer, let's check with Oklahoma native and Bassmaster elite angler, Edwin Evers.
You know, when we're all out there structure fishing, we want to find that sweet spot. But the question is, how do you find it? You just got to fish it. You got to fish all the way down that ledge or all the way around that point. And it can be just something very small. It can be just a little bit bigger rock, or it can be a clean spot in the grass bed, or it can be one particular stump. It's just found by trial and error, time on the water, making lots of casts, and where you get that cast, make another cast exactly to the same spot. A lot of times I'll use lineups on the bank, I'll drop a waypoint. I want to make that same exact cast and find out for sure if that is a sweet spot. That is the best way to find it, just making multiple casts, covering a lot of water, and you'll eventually come across it.
Thanks, Edwin. If you have a question for one of the pros, just visit our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com, follow the Ask the Pro link, and send us your information. Now here's Barry with our Whataburger Big Catch of the Week.
This week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest is Sam Culver, a good old Texas Tech student, showing off a 10-pound largemouth bass he caught out of Lake Allen Henry south of Lubbock, Texas. If you would like to enter your big fish photo in our contest, just go to the website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com. Everything you'll need is in the top right-hand corner. You need to log in as a member of the fan club, and if you haven't joined yet, it is free, and once you do that, you can read my weekly blog, ask an Ask the Pro question, send us your Big Catch of the Week photo, or log into our weekly online chat session. This week, the online chat session will be hosted by Brian Hughes, our Texas freshwater reporter. This week on the Academy Right Stuff, I'll tell you that you need 3 or 4 different rigs all set up and ready to go if you're going to have your best chance to catch these smallmouths and largemouths at Lake Murray. Let's show them to you now. If the fish are schooling on top, you'll need a Zara spook rigged on a medium-sized Abu Garcia Veritas rod and a Revo reel and 12 or 14 pound test Stren fluorocarbon line. If the fish go down and they're not schooling, you'll need a lipless rattling crankbait, again rigged on a medium action bait cast rod and reel with about 10 or 12 pound line. Then if the fish go even deeper, 10 or 12 feet deep, you can go to a lead head soft plastic grub rigged on a spinning outfit with 8 pound test Stren original line. Then if they go the deepest they can go, which will be 15 to 25 feet deep off the points, you'll need a Texas rigged soft plastic worm, a little 4-inch finesse worm. Again, the Texas rig allows you to fish in the brush and weeds without getting snagged. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning of today's show, Lake Murray in south central Oklahoma is probably not your best chance to catch a trophy smallmouth bass in the state of Oklahoma, but it most likely is your best location to catch a lot of smallmouths in the same day like we did today. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to watch our show again next Thursday, 10:30 p.m. unless the Dallas Stars game runs late, and that event will be on right after the post-game show. Then we'll be on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. You can always catch our show up online each week 24/7 on our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com. You can catch all of our past archived episodes at our YouTube channel. Link to that from the front page of the website. From beautiful Lake Murray in south central Oklahoma, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.